I felt like the first and second round of this year's March Madness was the most exciting rounds that I've seen in a really, really long time in the tournament. And I was very happy to see K-State do so well and make it so far, but was really disappointed with their loss and am interested to see who's going to win.
Right now, my feelings towards March Madness, I'm pretty frustrated because I'm a big KU fan and they lost in the second round. Another reason is because Duke made it to the Final Four, and that was the only reason I was still watching, is to see Duke get beat. So that's the game I'm going to be paying attention to, is West Virginia and Duke, and I'm just hoping right now maybe Butler will win because I'm just rooting for the underdogs.
The first couple of rounds have been really exciting. There's been more upsets than I've ever seen in an entire season in the last couple of weeks. I was a little disappointed that my Wildcats didn't make it farther, but they made it farther than they've made it as long as I can remember, as long as I've been alive. But go Wildcats, we'll get you next year.
March Madness has been great this year. I'm still rooting for a couple of teams. I'm sad none of the Big 12 was there, but also sad K-State didn't make it farther than they did, but they played great. They did well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the tournament.
I really did not like the tournaments this year. Kentucky was my last team in the bracket, and they just lost. So my bracket is completely shot, and I did not have fun watching the tournaments.
I love it when KU goes out. I loved it when they went out to Bucknell. I loved it when they went out to Bradley, and I love it that they went out to Northern Iowa. It was a great way to lose. Guy steps back, hits the three-pointer. Tyrell Reed looks like a fool and cries in the press conference. I love that. It makes my entire bracket. And I also have Duke winning, so I'm still intact. It's kind of nice. But, yeah, it's been a good tournament.
Thanks, Chris. Up next, Dannie Harris has a story about the struggles the softball team is facing this year, right after this commercial break. Welcome back. The weather hasn't been too kind to outdoor sports this year, especially the softball team. Dannie Harris has more.
Because of all the rain and snow over the past few weeks, the softball field has been in bad shape.
We have actually not been able to have a full practice on the field yet this season. We've been on part of the field, some of the outfield, but not actually been able to use the whole field as of yet this season.
The Baker softball team has been at a slight disadvantage because of all their indoor practices.
There are teams that have been on dirt, so the balls bounce a little bit different, and the playing surface just feels a little bit different than being on a gym floor, so balls may take different bounces, using different balls as well, not using a real softball can have some disadvantages, but we work through it.
The softball girls have been upset that they haven't been able to play a home game yet. Instead, they have been traveling to Olathe.
As a whole, our team is pretty upset that we don't have home games. We only have 3, and it's just kind of upsetting. You kind of get better vibes, and you get more pumped up to play on your home field, and you get more excited when you know people are coming to watch you, and it's just being around other Baker athletes kind of pumps you up and you're ready to play, so it's kind of a disadvantage.
The problems with the field have been identified, and a lot of hard work over the next few weeks should make the field playable.
So between our hard work of working the field and getting things fixed out there and Mother Nature cooperating, we're optimistic.
With the weather warming up, the chances of a home softball game in the near future look possible. I'm Dannie Harris, KNBU-TV.
Thanks, Dannie. Hopefully the weather cooperates for the rest of the year. Now we're going to send it to Sports Chat with Patrick Mirch and Chris Atlakson at Liston Stadium.
Hey, welcome to this week's edition of Sports Chat. We're outside Liston Stadium. I'm Patrick Mirch.
And I'm Chris Atlakson.
Well, let's get started with some Baker golf. The Baker golf team went down to Springfield, Missouri this past weekend to play at the Evangel University Invitational. And rough weather conditions on Thursday played into effect on the weekend rounds on Friday and Saturday. However, the Baker golf team finished 8th out of the 12 teams. Now on to Baker track and field. This past weekend, the Baker's men and women's track teams held their annual Baker Relays in Baldwin City, with the men winning the meet and the women finishing second. For the men, the 4x100 meter team won with a time of 42.24, and the 4x8 relay team won with a time of 8 minutes and 22 seconds. And individually, Aaron Hannon won the pole vault with a mark of 4.26 meters. And as for the women, our own Mary Loveland won the steeplechase with a time of 12:37, and senior Carrie Lister won shot put with a mark of 12.26 meters. Now, Chris, what can you tell us about the Baker baseball team?
Well, the Baker baseball team played Graceland University, and they ended up going 1 for 2 in contested games. In the first game, they were able to come back and tie it 3-3. However, Graceland University ended up scoring one more run and winning 4-3. But it went Baker's way in the second game. In extra innings, the game was once again tied 6-6 before Jeremy Wright hit a single, allowing teammate Orozco to score, and Baker went on to win that game 7-6 in extra innings.
Okay, so it sounds like the Baker baseball team is getting their season going and doing pretty well. What about the Baker softball team?
The Baker softball team also won 1 for 2 against Culver Stockton in Canton, Missouri. In Game 1, Baker won 2-1 in extra innings, with Heather Gruber pitching 13 strikeouts in the first game. However, they dropped their second game 10-1 in just 5 innings, where Culver Stockton scored 8 runs to 8-run rule them in the bottom of the third. The record is now 9-13 overall and 1-3 in the HAC.
Okay, so it sounds like the Baker softball team is getting their season going as well and slowly picking up pace. We just want to congratulate all of our spring sports teams and wish them the best of luck in the upcoming weeks. Well, this does it for us here on Sports Chat for this week. I'm Patrick Mirch.
And I'm Chris Atlakson.
See you next week.
Thanks for sports, guys. Have a great Easter weekend. I'm Mary Loveland. Be sure and tune in next week.